All right, so in this week's video, it has a lot to do with car repair. And so it's a little slower on some stuff. Be patient. You can fast forward through the car repair if you want. Yeah, it's good. Stay tuned till the end to see to hear about the surprise thing I found on the road. All right, so one of my projects, tinkering stuff, is working on this car. It's a older Honda CR-V that the suspension, the struts need to be replaced, as well as the motor mounts and the control arms. So that's my project. I'm gonna try to do the struts in this run, see what I can do. The back struts, because the control arms and the front struts are all one big job. So I'm gonna try to do that later. So we're gonna try to do the rear struts tonight. Put on these first of all, I've got to put on these awesome mechanic outfit coveralls. So I got these in Scotland when I was there 35 years ago, and a person we were visiting got these off the base. They were doing mechanic work on an Air Force base, and they gave me these. So these are RAF mechanic uniform. All right, so it's been a minute or years since I've put this on, and there we go. It's a little tight around the belly. That might mean I've expanded a little. So here we go. All right, so the first step I got is I set the brake and jack this up so the rear wheels are off the ground. I loosened the lug nuts why they were on the ground, because I've learned to do that, because if they're off the ground, they spin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a wheel chock in, and I've got this huge, these are tight in places. I've got a huge block of wood. I'm going to put in front, place the rear wheel. We're going to come back, grab this jack, I'm going to loosen the lug nuts first. I know these are 19s with a Honda key in one. So some of these sockets are old. I got them when I was in high school. I got them from Santa Claus. This here is Harbor Freight, not a sponsor, would love to be, but Deepwell 19 millimeter will take care of those lug nuts. I've got older DeWalt 18 volt batteries that are now lithium. Then we're going to zip these off. Just leave them right there. Of course, some roll under the tire. Tires off. Okay, and this is going to look the same as the other side, so I'm not going to bore you with the videoing. We're going to zip these off, and then we'll get to the inside and loosen the bolts and get the struts in. All right, one thing I didn't show you is I did put it on jack stands, so that if the center hydraulic jack fails, you got jack stands. All right, so here's the inside. Got blankets, frisbees. Yeah, there's a welding helmet in there. One of the guys at work was going to teach me. This is my PPE for work. My steel-toed boots for work. And a blanket that someone also gave me in Scotland that is an amazing old blanket. Keeps it warm. Okay, so we're going to pop these covers off. And you can see the strut is right down in there. So I've got a couple bolts that we're going to get to. I'm going to take these off both sides. So we've got two bolts up there. And we've got the bolt that goes through the frame down here. All right, so since I don't have fancy air tools, I'm using a ratchet here and here. And one loose. Two loose. And we'll use the driver in a second. So now I'm going to go down and see what size the bolts are on the bottom of the strut. All right, I got the gun. I don't know what you call it, the impact. So, missed that one. It's kind of hard to see from the other side. This together. Okay, so both of those are off, just down in the hole there. And then the bottom is a 17 millimeter, and it looks like that bolt is welded in, so we just need to work on the head over here. And this is what I call road tool. What that means is I was out driving, saw a flash of chrome on the road, found a ratchet driver with a 13 millimeter socket. It's not a 10, I know, but it was a 13, and so I went ahead and grabbed it with my daughter in the car. So let's see if we can get this going. Nope, so I'm gonna have to get the 3/4 drive out. Sorry, the 1/2 inch drive and breaker bar to get that going. All right, so I bought some cheap adapters to go from 1/2 inch to 3/8, and I broke it. So we're gonna pause on that, and we are going to work on the other side and loosen something else up. The other thing I found is right here. I think those are the sway bar links. The kit I bought, turning winch cones with grease zerks. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that while I've got it. Hopefully this will go easier than the strut mount. All right, so it was a 14 on there, so of course nothing is the same as anything else. Let's see if we can get this off. Road tool to get the other one. That's really awkward. is a deep well, and I could probably use a standard one, and it would be easier to get in there and do that. So that's what I'm going to do.
Thank goodness for multiple ratchets, right? That's really tight. I guess that's what happens when you have an 18-year-old car. Isn't it? That's pretty tight. Let's see what we can do. Not this time, I think that rest would be great. Just spinning in there. Go check it out.
So I got the first nut off right there with the very versatile vice grip tool that held that bolt in place. So now we're going to try to get this one.
Alright, so I got the wrench. 17, socket to 15. Now, 17. Let's try this out. I really need to get some bigger coveralls or lose some weight. A bit tight, can't move around. Oh man. Let's see. I'll make that easy. Makes it so I don't fall off your resets. And this one is going to be interesting. I think on the other side. No, a little bit before I put it in. Alright, so that's not going off. That's awesome. into it. Get my cart. Let's maybe move this one just a touch. Either tighten it a little, or loosen it a little to make it easier to line up. Let me get rid of the let's see if that works. At least doesn't come flying out of that. Yeah, this would be much easier to do. Out of the car. On the bench.
Okay, so I realized that the transition from me stopping my work one night and the next day, so I started working on the car on Friday, and this is my bike ride on Saturday. All right, early morning on a Saturday, out for a ride, going with my buddy Ryan. He's got a new recumbent. He's gonna drag me around. So it's 46 degrees, and gonna see how I do. I've got fingerless gloves, and I should have worn some tights, but hey, let's see if we get warm on the ride and have a good one. It's just gonna be a relatively lower mileage morning, maybe 20, 25, so we'll see how it goes. I'm getting ready to ride my bike to work next week, maybe, hopefully, and so I can get in shape. Hope everybody has a great day. Here we are out on a ride with my buddy. Got a new recumbent. We are on the frontage road, just enjoying the beauty. It's warmed up a little bit. More cyclists out this morning. It's a great day. Here we are, just riding along. Beautiful Saturday morning. Oh, both hands on the wheel. And I'm riding, and I look over, and I see this truck. I'm like, hey, that's a pretty good looking truck. So I look closer. It's a Sparks Motors heavy rescue truck. So some of the other YouTube channels I watch is Sparks Motors, Diesel Brothers. Fun show. They do a lot of rescue, a lot of helping people, and fly helicopters. So it's pretty cool. All right, just got done with the ride. It ended up being about 24 miles. Got out on the bike, and I realized I'm not in great shape. My butt's a little sore, and I need to get ready to ride to work. So hopefully this will be the start of many more rides this summer. All right, it's the next day, so still gonna work on the suspension here. But before I do that, I'm gonna get ready for another project, which is an owl house in my backyard. But I've got to mount the bat house. I've got to mount the bat house to the pole before I dig the hole. So I'm gonna get the wood and do that. And then I'll go back to the suspension. So this awful looking 4x4 here on the bottom, that one right there, I'm gonna take and mount the owl house to that, the bat house. And then I'll bring it back here so we'll probably dig it, I don't know, maybe somewhere about here. So that's a nice south exposure, and we can mow around it and it'll be good. All right, that's the bat house. You can see it's got a little hanger up here, and then I'm gonna drill a hole here, screw it into the pole, then we'll bury the pole so it won't blow away. And there it's all mounted. Big screw here, grabber screw there. It's tight on the pole. So now we'll go and just dump the pole down back where it was. It's ready for digging. All right, so we're gonna give it another try. See if we can get this bolt off the lower strut with the 3/8 drive. It's not moving at all. Ah, crap. So I think what I'm going to do is jack it up a little more, and we'll try to get the longer breaker bar on there. All right, so I couldn't get that strut to break loose, so what I'm going to do is work on the other side on this sway bar end, and get this replaced, since we did that last night on the other one. So I'm not going to bore you with this, but we're going to go ahead and do that. So again, we've got our trusty ratchet and our vice grips, since that spins, and we'll see how it goes. This is much easier than last night. On this one, I'm trying not to curse myself. I learned a couple things with getting the vice grip on there tight enough. Okay, so there's one side. Let's see if we can get this other side. I'm sure there are more difficult ways to do this, but this is probably one of the hardest, so why not choose that way, right? Okay, so we don't need the extension on this. Let's see if we can get it to break loose. All right. Well, the ratchet's moving, I can't tell. And that's spinning. And it is. So that means we need to tighten the vice grips a little bit. Quarter turn maybe? More than that. Oh, there we go. Felt like it slipped again, so we'll give it another quarter on that. Tighten it up. And it's spinning again. So, well, give it another quarter or half a turn. Tighten it up again. dentist says I clench my teeth, and I think I clench them when I'm doing all kinds of activities like this. Got to get all the power you can out of it. And there's the other side of that sway bar link. All right, so here's the new link. So I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. I'm not a mechanic. I just play one every once in a while. So goes there. And I said I was going to grease these before I put it in. Well, I found out my grease gun's out of grease last night, so I ordered some, and I should be on a prime truck today. So this time we're going to use a little power tool. Let's see if we can get these to go in faster. If we can line the nut up. Thank goodness for extensions, right? Alright, so we're gonna hold this in place. A couple extras. And then we'll get this one on top. The wrench. I just want to make sure they're tight. Yep. Sweet, that one's all right. So another thing that came with the stuff I bought from the auto parts store online is the motor mounts and transmission mounts for this, because they're all worn out, and I feel like sometimes my motor's about to fall out when I am driving and shifting gears. So, but one of the things that came with it was a differential support for the back. So I'm gonna try to change that out. That is right here. So you can see that mount right there, kind of. So that thing with the rubber in it, that's the differential mount. So there's a bolt that goes in from the side up here. That one broke loose, and then this one, and this one all broke loose. So now it's just going to be easy to undo them, and hopefully I can get this out this way. I really don't want to remove that, loosen that. So hopefully it'll come out pretty easy. All right, so changing out this differential support, there's not a lot of room in there, so I'm thinking I can take and bounce the differential and maybe move that out the front or something like that. So trying different things. All the bolts are loose. It's just sitting in there pretty tight. So that's the project, and trying to do that with frustration. Sorry, without frustration. We got the old one out, and here's the new one on its side. It needs to fit between those two brackets. So, in the words of Jaws movie, I had to get a bigger pry bar, or boat, but pry bar is what I needed. So, yeah, now I'm working on getting that back in between those brackets, but it's going pretty well. All right, that's the new differential support. You can see the bolts are still loose. I've got to tighten those up. But after a long, hard fight, all of a sudden it just popped into place. So, yeah, I guess I didn't need that bigger pry bar. So I'm going to tighten those up, and then we're going to see if we can get the lower mount to the struts off again. So, yeah, wish me luck. All right, so I couldn't get the bottom bolts off of the strut on there, so we're going to go to a different project. So this is our Lifetime Products table. It's a great table. We've had it for about 7 years. But you'll see here that's kind of, well, it is breaking. Sunblock. So we've got a new top and benches here. So we're going to flip it over, take the top and benches off, and replace them. So that'll be my project for next. Again, here it is. The nice thing about this is that they have put Phillips heads on all of these. So it's going to be pretty easy to take it apart. If I can line up my screw heads. Alright, so here's the new tabletop. Upside down. There's the old one. I got to throw it off the deck. So I'm going to flip it over and we'll put it right here so we can enjoy summer food. And there's our new Lifetime Products table. All repaired, all ready to go. Got a place for the hornets to build their nests now. Alright, so it's really hot and I haven't been out in the sun a lot. I've got my double chin going on there. Awesome. So I decided to put a hat on and try to find some shade. So I got the table all done. It looks great, will work great. No pinching and stuff. So now, as I was walking around the yard, my sweet wife said, "Hey, why don't you turn on the sprinklers?" I've already turned on the water, but I need to set the sprinklers to see how they if there's any leaks or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in the backyard, and then I'm going to do the front yard because she's actually working in there. So another project. Yep. So here's the back sprinkler. There's two of them, and that's the box. And then you have the controller over here because it's not wired in to hardwired power. So let's turn it on, see if we can get them going. A lot of sputtering and splashing and spooshing and getting the air out of the lines. So sounds like it's working well. I'll test them and see how this all working. Thanks. All right, so all the sprinklers are working. Set them to come on every other day so that we can get some good water coming. We've had a lot of rain this spring, so I haven't turned them on yet, but now we're getting more 70-degree days. I'm sure you wanted to see me pick my nose. More 70-degree days, and so we are wanting to get the sprinklers going so we can do that, get the grass growing better. So that's taken care of. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing stuff. I'm pretty worn out, so we'll continue this another time. So good news, I guess I'm not done for the day. My grease showed up, so I'm going to go ahead and grease up those sway bar bushings so that that's taken care of. And then I don't have to worry about that later. So I'm going to take care of that and then take it easy. So I guess I didn't need grease. I pulled the old one apart and there was still grease in the tube. So I just used that. And so I've got a couple new tubes of grease when I need them for the summer with the tractor and the other stuff. And then loading up the other front end with the sway bar links. So we're good. All right, so I talked about earlier my road tools, which are the tools I find on the side of the road or whatever. So my wife and I were driving to Frisbee to the league championship, which, yeah, we weren't in the championship game. Neither of us were. We were in two different teams. But we're driving along, and I look over in the left turn lane, and I see something green and black on paper. So I pull to the side of the road. My wife gives me a funny look because she knows sometimes I just stop and pick stuff up. Well, I get out, run back, found 20 bucks. So yeah, that'll pay for something on this trip, or just, yeah, 20 bucks. Remember to be kind to those around us. Have a good one, and till next time.